What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. So today we're going to be talking about drop fire drills. I've already made this video like 4 times, but I'm just not happy with the way it turned out. So hopefully I can get it this time, the 5th time, and try it from there. Let's go over the safety first. Obviously, make sure your firearm is unloaded. It's a beautiful thing about drop fire drills. Double check, triple check, whatever you gotta do. And I'm going to set it with the hammers back. So make sure your firearm is clear. You can do this with secondary firearms as well. It changes up a little bit, but the same fundamentals still apply. But this is especially for secondary firearms. But like I said, you can absolutely 100% do this with like a long rifle, AR setup, AK, whatever you have. It's still the same stuff, and it's still excellent to train this way. So because you still have to get your proper grip. So this is pretty much going over all the basic stuff. This can help. Well, I tell you what, this pretty much will help everything except for managing recoil. And even that can help somewhat, but you still need to go and confirm that. And also you need to go and confirm your accuracy. But other than that, everything is pretty much exactly the same. Even the airsoft is pretty much the exact same thing as that. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Let's go over the one more safety thing. Trigger discipline. So as you start to speed up your process, especially if you're under a timer or anything like that, your mind has a tendency to go haywire, or not haywire, but goes into race mode, and a lot of people start to their safety starts to deteriorate, as well as they have a hard time breaking up different speeds. So I'm not going to dive into that too much, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Generally you want to be fast to draw, slow to shoot, at least up to what you're capable of doing. A lot of people, they just want to go fast and fast. They want to shoot just as fast as they draw, and that's not really realistic, at least until you're ready and you can actually go that speed and be able to land shots accurately. So let's dive on into it. Let's go over these fundamentals. The basic is going to be stationary. You can do this inside your house. You can do this sitting down. You can change it up. You can do this in a laying position if you want to. However you want to do it, that's the beauty of drop fire drills. You can really do this anywhere you really want to. You don't have to be out here on the range. We are out here on the range today, but you don't have to be. This works perfectly inside. You can hang up sticky notes. You can watch TV as when characters come into place or something like that. If you're watching an action movie, you can be sitting in your chair and draw your firearm. And it's still all the same fundamentals, but make sure you're really practicing those fundamentals. Don't just go and start doing stuff and start to develop bad muscle memory. This is all going to help you gain better muscle memory and try to break some of those bad habits if you guys do have any. So let's go over step by step. Now that we got that out of the way, aim small, miss small. So sticky notes is a good way to go. So one thing is you want to get your proper grip right out of the gate. So if you just have a new holster or anything like that, I will say a lot of people, they put all these steps into one motion, and that's fine, but some people they're not up to that speed yet, so you can break these steps down individually. If I'm just working on silent sight picture, I might just work on that. If I'm just working on my trigger control, I might just work on that. If I'm just having a brand new holster, I might just sit here and play with the holster and draw from it and sit here, make sure I have a good grip right out of the gate, make sure I can reholster. Okay, so just want to break that down so you don't think you have to go through all these steps in one motion. So now let's jump in the actual movements into this thing. All right, so the movements are going to be, make sure you got a proper grip right out of the gate, and this can go with a leg drop holster, whether you have it on the plate carrier. It's all the same fundamentals still apply. One rule of thumb is if you do have it on your side or a leg drop holster, you want to make sure that you can curl your fingertips around the bottom of your holster. That's a good rule of thumb. I don't know if you guys see that in the camera or not. So I can pretty much, it sits not in the center of my hand, but just on the base of my fingers. So that's a good way because I can fit it about perfectly. It doesn't sit up too high for me. It sits just right, so I do like that. And it's not down too low to where you're having to offset yourself in order to grab. Now with that being said, let's get into it. I've said that like 10 times probably, but let's do it. All right, y'all want to be quiet up there? I'm trying to shoot a video here, all right? All right, so proper grip right out of the gate. Make sure you got your stance. Make sure your support hand's ready to slide into place. For me, I have a very neutral stance. You can do all these drills standing up and stationary if you want to. But like I said, you can also do it sitting down. It's good to do that stuff, but generally the easiest, just to get your mechanics down, if you don't have them down already, you can do this standing up. So make sure you get that proper grip, trigger discipline. So my finger rides right around this slide or the frame of the firearm. I don't prefer to have mine down here on the trigger guard, because in case I fall or something like that, my finger can go inside the trigger, and I can have an accidental discharge. Or if I'm in a crowd, people are bumping me. I don't like that. I like to have it sitting on the side of the frame. That's just me, personal preference. But I do think that's a pretty good safety thing to add in there. So as I draw, I have a proper grip. I'm pointing the firearm forward, pretty for most part about as fast as I can, because you can pull shots from this position. That's why you don't want to do the whole bowling arm thing or anything like that. All right, so because you're going from the 1 position to your 2 position, you always present your secondary firearm from your chest. So like I said, you're having this firearm facing forward. So once it starts coming up to the 2 position, my support hand sliding into place. I'll turn it here so you guys can see. My support hand sliding into place. I'm starting to push out. Now I'm pre-lining my sights on target on push out. So basically, I personally work off my slide and the level of my slide. Some people, I heard they say they work off their front sight. Now I'm still focused on my target. I can just see this out my peripheral vision, so I'm pre-lining my sights, okay? So once I get to the 3 position, what that helps me to do is that helps minimize the time I have to readjust my sights. So they're not everywhere. They're already pretty much halfway aligned. I just got to make some minor adjustments in there, okay? So that's going to really help speed up your draw times, draw to shoot time, I should say. So I'm pushing out on the 3 position. Now I'm starting to focus on my front sight post. That's what you want to focus on before you pull the trigger, okay? So now my target's blurry, my back sight's blurry. I'm starting to put my finger on the side of the trigger. I'm finding the wall, reconfirming my sight picture, and I'm following through with it, okay? So for those of you who don't know what the wall is, I'm sorry. Finding the wall, this is a little bit detailed, but I do think this is critical because this can really help a good bit, especially trigger reset. So finding the wall, my camera can focus here. So I think my lens is all blurry. Hope the lens wasn't too blurry on that one. So but now we're finding the wall. So you see all the slack right here. So you hit a little bit of resistance, which is on mine is right here. Every firearm is a little bit differently, or every firearm is a little bit different. So mine hits resistance right there. The hammer has not dropped yet, but right after this, the hammer drops, okay? So that's finding the wall. That's gonna minimize your distance to be able to pull this firearm off target or anything like that. Also, trigger reset is just pretty much resetting the trigger back to the wall on a follow-up shot, which, you hear that click right there? Now I'm back on the wall, ready to go again, okay? Versus you'll see a lot of people, they'll release the whole they'll take their whole finger off the trigger and then come back down on it. And that's not terrible, but it really allows a lot of human error to pull that gun offline, okay? So now we got that out of the way. Let's go through this motion one more time. I'm gonna talk it through again. Like I said, say for instance, I have a small target I'm wanting to aim at, okay? That way it's really gonna help me focus on my front sight post. Obviously, if I have a huge target, I'm not gonna really have to focus that hard. So you wanna make sure you have a small target. So now I'm drawing, support hand's ready. I'm going down on the grip. I'm very high on the grip, high on the tang and beaver tail, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm pointing the gun forward. So now I'm going to the 2 position. Support hand sliding into place. So, I'm presenting the firearm from my chest. I'm starting to drive out. I'm focusing on the target, but I'm also pre-aligning my firearm on the target. So now once I'm about at the 3 position, I'm about fully extended, at least for me anyways. And then all right, so now I'm focused on the front sight post. So I'm focused on my target, finding the wall, confirming sight picture, follow through, boom, looks good, okay? So that's one drill you can do. Let's go through this. I'm just going to go through the step one more time without talking. I'll even go from like a surrender kind of mode. Found my holster there. You can tell I need to practice with this one. All right, I'm gonna do this fast one time. It's critical to get that proper grip every time. You can tell, see, I'm really high on the grip here. There's no play room in there. So that's critical. It's critical to have perfect grip every single time. So that's one thing you can do. Like I said, you can do this sitting down. You can do this from a kneeling position if you want to, inside your house, any of that good stuff. And you can break these steps down individually if you need to, instead of going through all this in one motion. And then also there's another drill I like to do as well. I got 2 pieces of board over here. So now we'll work on transitioning, not transitioning from firearm, but transitioning to targets, okay? So this is a really good firearm drill. This one specifically helps you work on gaining silent sight picture fast, okay? So you just sit here and work on this one. I like to triple check my firearms randomly, even though I've been sitting here playing with it. So now I'm good from the holster. You can do this with a shot timer as well, or if you want to add a little beep to it, you can, however you want to do it. So actually, I'm not gonna go from the holsters. I'm just gonna show you this one drill. So as I'm pivoting, I want to pivot off from my hips, okay? I don't want to pivot my torso. I want to pivot from my hips. So if I have 2 sticky notes set up, if I'm inside the house or something like that, or whatever it is, 2 pieces of 2 pine cones if you're out there in your yard, 2 trees, whatever it may be, the closer to it you better. Closer to it you are, the better most of the time, because you have to twist a little bit more. Versus if you're far away, you don't have to really move that much, if that makes sense. So let's go. So let's just say I just want to work on silent sight picture. I'm trying to focus on that pretty fast. I'm staring at my target, silent sight picture, boom, boom, boom. All right, so right before we end this video, I just want to go over all these steps, talk about them. So just a brief summary for the dry fire. All right, so you're working on your proper grip right out of the gate. You want to make sure you have a fast, strong grip, and you want to grip the pistol pretty much as tight as you can, but you don't want to be shaking neither, okay? So make sure you have a good tight grip, have proper grip out of the gate. From your 2 to your 3 position, that firearm is pointed forward. So now you're at the 2 position. You're going out to the 3 position. Now you're working on pre-aligning your sights on your target. And then once you get on the 3 position, you're working on your silent sight picture, focus on that front sight, and then finding the wall, and then follow through with it, okay? And then reholster. So, or you don't even have to reholster. And you can do different drills like that. You're building those building blocks. You're building that muscle memory. That stuff is critical. There is such a thing. I will talk about this really fast. I don't make this video too awfully long. But you can develop bad muscle memory. Okay, something like that. I'll talk about just the importance of switching up your drills and make sure you're not doing the same thing all the time. For instance, in my videos, you see me doing a lot of one-shot reload, one-shot for speed reloads or tactical mag changes, and that stuff is fine to a certain extent, right? Because you're minimizing your rounds and you're getting a bunch of training in, you're getting a bunch of muscle memory in, and that's perfectly fine. But however, when you know that reload is coming, you don't focus on that. You don't focus on the slide block, okay? So so then you're gonna start to take away from that when you get into a real situation and you're actually running drills to where you still have to coordinate reload. But you don't know it's coming, you're not going to know it's there. So with that, generally I'll put random rounds in, or be thinking of something my favorite cheeseburger is, because I'm a fatty, and try not to think of how many rounds I put in my mag. Put anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds. Keep that round count low, and that way, especially nowadays with how ammo is, that way you're getting more training with less rounds. But like I said, you want to switch up those drills. You don't want to get stuck on one drill at a time, even though it can be teaching you really good ways in a couple aspects. It could also be lacking in something else, okay? So that's just the importance of that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.